So you texted and you had said that you were looking forward to season 2. Um, who would you guys want as the 3 quarterbacks after seeing the format that they had, right? With
Mhm.
Mahomes being an all-world, one of
Right.
the best, a fringe starter, and someone who's solidified in their role, right? I think that's the right format to take it, like
Yeah.
even into
Do
next season. We'll just get into Gardner Johnson went down. We saw the update today that uh, thankfully, thankfully, it's not believed that it's major missed significant time. But if he were to be out for a significant amount of time, how impacted do you think that secondary / defense would be?
yeah.
One more thing, the sky is blue.
Definitely.
So, one thing I did want to touch on, and it is a Michigan sports thing, and I, as a Michigan fan,
Mm-hmm.
yep,
Yeah. Go
I
ahead.
felt like I had to bring it up.
Let her loose.
Uh, Today they're talking about how Jim Harbaugh may be suspended for 4 games this year. They're talking. They're talking with the NCAA right now. Due to require for initially it was 4 level 2 violations for violating COVID-19 recruiting rules. Um, Turned into a level 1 when he did not cooperate. uh, and then when they're investigating that, he didn't want to admit that he was lying. So what we're gonna do is each week we're gonna take one of the Michigan college teams and kind of talk about them for a little bit. I know we did that in an earlier episode. We kind of touched on that last week, but just to kind of give them their due, And
Absolutely.
I thought Western would be a good start because with all 3 of us not being big fans of them and not really following them,
They got,
you know,
and they got some stuff going. It's a rough gig, and for all those youngsters out there who want to be running backs, maybe just decide to be a wide receiver instead. If you don't like making $10 million and you want to make 30 instead, I don't know.
I would.
or take up golf.
Okay, so option 1, first you yourself go on a 2-week vacation where all you do is go to like these low rent buffets for every meal, and you take selfies of yourself at every location and what you're eating. But the catch is that you can't tell your wife and child that you're leaving. You basically leave in the middle of the night. And when you get back, when they ask what happened, all you can do is show them the pictures. You can't explain other than showing them the photos. So all they see is you eating at these crappy buffets, and they're wondering why you were gone for 2 weeks. You just disappeared.
Okay.
The other option is you let your wife go on a 10-day paradise vacation on the beach with Matt Rife, where anything goes. and she sends you one selfie or pic every day of them sharing one little kiss. And he's obviously not wearing a shirt in these pictures.
As a senior in college, you'd either be a third stringer at a good D1 school or a starter at a good D3 school. Okay. Next one. You can either be, would you rather be always broke with a nice haircut and a beard,
So
or
now,
or or well off with a perm and no beard? All right, next one. You either have to chew already chewed gum from under a table for 5 minutes,
Ooh.
or or smell someone else's used underwear.
For 5 minutes also, or is this like an hour?
Just a good whiff.
Just a good-hearted whiff.
Big ol'...
Is it like a I should have brought a Tide stick with me type of thing?
Where you're breathing out their butt juice?
Yeah. Should I brought a Tide stick with me or what?
All right, last one. This is another not great one. All right, you either have to eat 10 of your own boogers, or pick 15 boogers from other people's noses and wipe it on yourself.
Wipe it on yourself?
Oh, dude,
like on your shirt?
Yes. Yes. Welcome to episode 10 of the BDE Sports Talk podcast. Once again, my name is Bill, one of your co-hosts, along with my dashingly handsome brothers, Dean and Eddie.
Hello.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello to you, our ugly brother.
Yeah.
I hope you enjoyed today's podcast. No. How's it going, guys?
Good. Doing well.
Doing sweet, man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm ready for today.
Dang. That is a solemn good right there.
I am ready for today.
Okay, here we go.
So before we get started, thank you to everybody for checking out today's episode. If you do like today's episode, please feel free to slap that like button.
Oh my gosh.
Tickle the subscribe, little slap and tickle.
I gotta tell you, that's the least that a slap and tickle has ever hurt me.
Just trying to change it up.
We're there you go, man. Hey, it worked. I feel like it worked.
Hit the notification bell as well if you do subscribe, so that you are reminded that we put out episodes every Sunday. So that's pretty much our only content. So with that said, this doesn't change. How was your weekend?
Oh,
either one of you.
Doing good.
What's
up? Hello.
Today's wild card weekend. Who wants to go first?
I'll just go. It was the same old. Except I went twice this weekend, and
you went golfing
twice. Yeah, I went golfing twice. Yeah. Drank some beers. What?
I went twice this weekend, and then I golfed.
Yeah. That too, yes. I just assume it's pretty well known that I'm playing pretty terrible golf every weekend at the local golf courses. Those poor fairways.
As always.
That's pretty much it. Just that's it.
Nice, that's fun, man.
Yeah,
that's fun. I went out to my buddies.
Real barn buster in the winter. Like to burn it down,
Bring a little Seth Rollins over there, huh?
What'd you do this weekend?
It down.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Same old.
This is a sweet weekend update. A glimpse into my
stood in line behind a bunch of kids at Craig's Cruisers. I wasn't actually planning to ride any carts or anything. I just stood in line with them. Got to the front, then I left.
I just wanted to be a part of something.
Nice.
Eddie, what'd you do?
Went out to my buddies. Mitch. Shout out to old Mitch and Boobs. We were out there throwing some bags, drinking some booze, just having a good time. Oh, Sunday. You guys saw. I have to mention. My kids started their own YouTube channel. They see Dad doing something. They got to get it going too. The old Sleepy Blues. John and Caitlin mostly, but I think the other kids might get in there at some point and go check that out. I guess if anybody watching this is into that, then head on over that way.
Nothing says following up a sports podcast like
You want to watch some kids?
So I had this.
Hey, hold on.
Go ahead.
Because I will say, Charlie loved the video.
Oh, I bet.
She was laughing the whole time. So good start.
They're on vacation starting tomorrow, so we'll get some more content out for our friends like Charlie and the other children out there who might check it out.
For all you kids,
I'm all about the kids.
Sleepy Blues. Now let me play my flute. Follow me.
So this isn't really a weekend thing. This is more of a situational thing.
Oh, sweet. That's
and I'm not going to say.
Moving on.
yeah. We're going to do situational things at the end. So I'm not saying this is not a person. It could be anybody in my realm of life. Okay, it could be a cornhole club friend. It could be a friend that's not in there. It could be a coworker. It could be a person I met at a restaurant. It could be anything. So let me know if you guys have ever been in this situation where you know how I am, right? Like I mess with people a little bit. You
wouldn't say.
Like my first day at my current office, I shushed people before they knew me, just to dip my toe in the water to see see what I'm working with. Yeah, and it's something we joke about now, whenever. But there's somebody else who came into my realm of life, and I gave that person a nickname, super random.
No.
Super random nickname. I can't even say the nickname. It wasn't offensive. In fact, I thought it was kind of cool. But it was incredibly random. And other people started saying it too. And then I ended up asking this person how they felt about the nickname. And they're like, I'd prefer if you didn't.
Oh, man.
Usually how that goes.
And I'm like, oh. Yikes.
How long did that go on?
Just a couple days, but enough.
Oh.
I can imagine the nickname. You're like, I thought it was kind of cool.
I'm telling you, I'll tell you guys off of the live. Yeah. Child boner 36.
I thought it was cool.
It was pretty funny, I don't know.
There's the child predator.
Have you guys ever had anything like that come up? You guys ever done that where you're like, okay, this is funny, and I'm kind of checking the temperature of the person, but like
Not
then it
to
totally is
somebody
like I'm not trying to upset the person. I just thought it was kind of funny, and just seeing where they're at.
You just met this person?
I mean, I'm trying not to narrow it down.
That's fair.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But sometime, not like met that day nickname, but sometime. Well, they've gotten to get used to me a little, at least a little.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
I was thinking like somebody walks in the door. Hey, how you doing? You're like, hey, meat stick. Everybody calls him meat stick for 2 days.
And everybody's like, meat stick.
It's like, please just stop calling me that. We're at work.
You guys ever had that? Because I felt I kind of felt bad. I'm like,
so when we were in high school, I didn't know him that well at the time, but you know how kids are. so I was dating someone. I don't know if I really want to. I don't think it really matters, but I was dating someone, and she broke my heart. I was dating someone at the time. Yeah. That's a joke. And she had said that someone that he had flashed them, and it looked like he had chode.
Yeah, I knew. So you said flash. I'm like, oh yeah.
Yeah. So I got a hold of that information, and in gym, it kind of got started to call him chode. Now he ran with it, right?
Anybody that
He
we
definitely ran
know
with
from
it.
back then knows exactly who we're talking about based on
for
your
sure.
story.
Yeah.
For sure.
Unquestionably.
Even I know who.
Even
certain.
Dean. For
Yeah.
certain.
Yeah.
certain.
I mean, looking back at it now, good on him. Like he
Hey.
took that, and
Own
it
it.
could have
Gotta own
been,
Could've
yeah.
been way worse.
He's like,
You might as well
I'm
own
gonna,
it at that point.
I'm gonna put it on my varsity jacket.
I don't know if I would have gone that far.
I don't know.
But
It's a bit.
So
But hey,
no,
right, you're
but
right.
looking, I'm sure he wasn't a fan of that.
I mean, you don't put it on your varsity jacket if you're not a fan.
But at the time we were freshmen, so you're just getting in high school. It was within the first couple months.
well, he probably got his jacket because he was a swimmer too, right?
Right.
He might have gotten it as a freshman.
Right, but I mean, when we first started calling him that, I'm sure he wasn't happy about it.
Well, yeah, man, come on.
So. But besides that, that's the only time I can think of.
Yeah, I don't know. I was curious. I'm like, I kind of feel bad. I don't know. I thought it was a sweet nickname.
Meat stick.
Yeah. Baby balls.
Baby balls. That's what I imagine.
So
I'll tell you guys later.
Okay. So for my weekend wasn't it was pretty busy. It's pretty busy. We went to Jackson, and then we went to Elkhart for another party, another kids party. It wasn't as bad as the first one. The first one I was talking about, that was like 30 kids. This one had probably 10 to 12. So not too bad. So that was fun. It was hot. It was hot this weekend.
It's gonna be hot.
Oh.
It's gonna be hot. Apparently.
Yeah, I didn't really do much this
And
weekend.
now the weather with Dean. Take it away.
It's a storm. Oh no.
One thing I did do this weekend was I started watching, and I finished Quarterback.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
I also started watching that.
So what'd you think, dude?
So I actually wrote notes for this because I wanted to emphasize exactly what you said last week.
I knew it.
That dude is so white.
Kirk Cousins.
He's
Kirk Cousins.
Basic white male.
Well, I guess of the three quarterbacks, he'd be the only one you'd really be talking about. But
yeah. Once Pollard, yeah. But yes, he is everything that you thought Kirk Cousins would be. That is insane. Now
Wasn't
watching
it?
the whole thing, yeah. But the thing is, now I'm a Michigan fan, so I feel for Kirk, and I don't want him to win. Like, obviously, but if the Lions say their curse comes back alive and they go, 8 injuries, and we're looking at Hendon Hooker as our quarterback 6 games in, Wouldn't mind if old Kirky got a
If he
got
swung
a, got
through
a
for a
playoff
minute.
run.
I
Yeah.
thought
I'd
you were
rather
gonna
have.
say, you
I'd
wanted
rather
to trade for Kirk Cousins. I was like, oh.
no.
That's what
But
it sounded like you were getting at. I was like, oh,
Yeah.
But
for
if I
real,
were
yeah.
to, if I were to have someone win the North, out of the other three teams, it would be the Vikings.
sure.
That's
Well,
true.
yeah,
Because
that's interesting because as I've seen this a lot where people are like, I like Kirk Cousins, more now, or I understand him more or whatever, since
Mhm.
that, the show. But as a State fan, and I've followed him obviously since college,
right,
the whole way through, I actually, it brought him down a little for me. I held him in quite a high esteem, to be fair. He gave those speeches at the Big Ten things, and he's just a stand-up dude, and you're like, I don't know, he was a notch, just a notch less than what I was hoping for. That's
I don't
just
know.
me, and maybe it's because of the extreme whiteness of Kirk Cousins. I don't know, but it is extreme.
Yeah, like a very, very Midwest basic white guy too. You know what I mean? Like,
I mean, we all know a guy like that.
yeah, that's
Multiple.
Exactly, like, it's just like, yeah. I
Throw
honestly
your
thought
X's up.
he'd I thought he'd
Throw
be
'em up.
more of a tool, to be honest.
I thought
assumed
he
he'd be
was.
very
I thought he
white,
kind
like
of
you said.
was.
I thought he'd be more of a tool. Like I thought he was like
Okay.
like you can't stand this guy. But really, I'm just like, I mean, he's just a dude.
Okay. So it all depends on your
Just kinda-
perspective going in.
Yeah,
right?
I think so.
Like,
I think it kind of made me like him a little bit more, to be honest.
okay. I still like him a
Mhm.
lot, to be fair. I hadn't seen him that personal before, but I've always been a big fan. And then he did Kirk O'Chains last year, and I'm like, okay, he really took a big step up. I thought it's like, okay, this is exactly what I think.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's that great dude. Everybody wants to be around, but he's also, I mean, when I watch it, I'm like, yeah, okay, he's not what I had put him up to be totally in my head.
Right.
I mean, he was,
which is
part of
unfair to have put that on him.
I mean, he was part of the Extreme Tenors, so
No, that was cool.
He's a good singer too. I was surprised.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny that he was like,
Extreme
he's like,
Tenors.
I just do stuff,
So
and
white.
people think think it's funny. That's what I thought. I thought that was funny when he said that. He's like, I just do things, and people are like, that's hilarious. He's like, okay, I guess that's funny.
I don't know.
No,
There is a ton to like about Kirk Cousins. I mean, really. I mean, he's just a genuinely decent dude.
Mhm.
He's a Michigan guy like us. Still lives in Michigan. Make sure he has a day with his family. Like,
yeah.
Just a regular dude.
Another note I had on here was Marcus Mariota's wife is a real one. Like, she's like what you would want as a quarterback wife.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like going over plays with him.
yeah, if you couldn't have Brittany Mahomes, then yeah, you'd want, Mariota's lady.
So, listen. So, my opinion of Brittany Mahomes before the show was terrible. Like, I wish she would disappear. After the show, I'm glad that I don't have to listen to her, but I guess you could say I kind of respect her more now than I did before. Because as far as I thought she was she just hung on and she got, you know what I mean? She just married who she thought was going to be famous. But I mean, like, she owns that soccer team in Kansas City. You know, she does other stuff, which I think it helped her out a little bit as far as her image. But at the same time, like, it was definitely who I thought she was, as far as like annoying. Like,
oh, no doubt. Watching
Yeah.
it, I did say to myself at some point, like, oh, I get it now. Like, I get it. I get where, like, that's who, Pat Mahomes, who could have anybody in the world, is with her. Yeah. Yeah, essentially. I mean, obviously not everybody, but most.
But I mean, I'd probably let him.
Yeah, no, I'd leave. I'd go. I'd move in with him
I'll
today.
go with you, Pat.
But I did say, I think I even said out loud to myself, I'm like, yeah, okay, I get it now. It's just, and it helps, they've, been together since they were high school, stuff like that. Like, I like that kind of thing better in general anyway.
Right.
But yeah, no, she's super annoying. She's the personality is what I like you're saying, I thought that was kind of her, but not as bad as I originally thought either. And
Exactly.
I also at least get it.
Right.
With them. So that's good. I mean, good for them, man. I mean,
yeah,
seems like a good thing.
And like I said, she owns that soccer team. She actually goes and supports it. I thought it was cool for him to go with her, as busy as that guy is. Like, going after seeing that episode of what they have to do every single week as far as play calls go, and those types of things where you've just got to be, there's got to be no off button for those guys.
I mean, tell me, as I was saying when we were talking last week, I mean, watching it, I'm like, dude, Patrick Mahomes is that dude.
Yeah.
I mean, did that confirm that? I don't know. I thought it was in my head too. I'm like, obviously everybody knows he's the best that's out there right now. But watching it, I'm like, it kind of took him up, like, more than you think. You're like, okay, like, to me, I watched the NFL season. You're like, okay, he's the best quarterback. Okay, he's the best quarterback. And then I watched the show and I'm like, that's why he's the best quarterback.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he just has all the stuff.
And
you're like, it's probably because we have never seen that in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? We have never seen that.
Right.
So maybe that's why it's like, oh, that's it.
I'd say the closest would be Stafford.
Yeah.
I mean, you put Stafford with a good team from the get-go. I think he wins more than one Super Bowl.
But he's still not Mahomes.
No. But as far as if you're going to compare someone to Detroit, or Mahomes to someone in Detroit,
unquestionably, that's as close as we've gotten.
Yeah.
To somebody like that. Stafford, one of the great arms probably ever. I mean, just generally arm talent. I mean, how can you do it how could you have much more arm talent than that?
Right.
I mean, but it's, it's just all of it.
Yeah.
It's the whole thing. I mean, dude, I got fired up. Mahomes yelling at his guys. I mean, we already knew how the games turned out.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, dude, I would freaking love to play with that team, with that dude. I don't know.
Someone with the company with the word dog in it should really sign up with Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, dog.
Hey, dog.
Good tackle, dog.
Good dog. Good rush, dog.
Was Matt? Am I like just not thinking right and thought Max Crosby used to be a tight end?
You think? Yeah, you must be thinking wrong. The only other, I mean, I'm thinking Mason Crosby was a kicker.
No, there was some dude. It might be like Max Williams or something like that, who played for the Ravens. No. I think the dude's name's Max. Is why. But man, That's a bad dude right there too, Max Crosby. Phew,
Yeah.
dirty,
No doubt.
a little dirty. He's like, I was
Shout
going
out
for the
to an
ball.
Eagle. Oh
he
yeah,
Eagle?
dude.
Yeah, he's from.
No, he was Eastern.
Right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, dude, he was not going for the damn ball.
No.
Come on.
No, he was not.
He was chucking him in the back of the head. I mean, you got to say what you got to say. But,
Yeah. So you texted and you had said that you were looking forward to season 2. Who would you guys want as the 3 quarterbacks after seeing the format that they had, right? With Mahomes being an all-world, one of the best, a fringe starter, and someone who's solidified in their role, right? I think that's the right format to take it, like even into next season.
Elite guy, middle guy, and then like a journeyman / maybe a rookie.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. You guys have any thoughts on who you'd like to see? I do.
Debo?
I do.
Yeah, I mean, if you stick with that format, I would probably go with Joe Burrow, right? I mean, Joe Cool. I mean, he's probably right next to Mahomes, more than likely in the league at quarterback. And then they already, I mean, I would say Stafford to kind of follow that Kirk Cousins line, but they already asked him to be on season 1, and he had declined to be on this season. Oh. So, I mean, that'd be cool if maybe next year he was like, "Hey, I want to be a part." And then I would say Derek Carr.
Oh, that's
see
a good one.
See his transfer over to New Orleans, and I mean, new team, new system. Maybe he performs well. I think it'd be kind of cool. It'd be neat to see. Those aren't the most interesting guys besides Joe Burrow, though, and I think that's
we don't know until we see.
That's true. You wouldn't think Kirk Cousins. Yeah. I mean, he's not really that.
It's interesting to watch. I don't know if he's interesting.
A lot for Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. Playing on a good team made it.
Yeah, playing on a good team.
Uncommon.
And him taking those hits. It's all good.
Yeah, you guys saw that. That's like second or third episode was like 30 minutes of him just making painful noises.
Yeah.
Oh, dude. Yeah. And then it just kept he just kept getting smoked on the same spot.
Ooh, dude, that's why I was like, I think you might like it. And then in one episode, he's like, I think I might like it.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, I thought that. Like, he's just a freak, dude.
Yeah.
So,
Eddie, who do you got?
I had similar. Like, if I was going to choose, I like Burrow. He's just, everybody wants to know about Joe Burrow, Joe Cool, all that stuff, right? I mean, I'm curious. I had Jared Goff as the middle guy. Personal interest also. Right. Plus, I think obviously there's national interest having 5 national games this year. So I mean, Goff makes a lot of sense. Plus, he's got a resurgence story, all that other stuff, but it's biased. But I think all that stuff makes sense. And then I also had Jordan Love. I think that would be super interesting to see. And then I put you could switch Burrow with Jalen Hurts, or you could switch Love.
You only get 3. You only get 3.
Oh, and then I said you could switch Love with Carr.
Right. Yeah.
Because Carr was another guy. I'm like, I like that too, Dean. That would be pretty interesting. Yeah. And then if they went young guys, like one of the new young stars, like Bryce Young or Anthony Richardson, I don't want that. Because I feel like that's a story that's easy to see how that plays out. Right. But if they went with a new guy, obviously they go with one of those guys. But me, Burrow, Goff, Love, I would love to see that. And at first I'm like, wait, well, those are all like Midwest teams. But it was kind of like that this season too. So
yeah. Yeah.
All right, moving on to the next thing.
Yeah. Which would be my 3.
Yeah.
So I also went with Joe Burrow. I think he'd just be entertaining in his own. Dean, you're right there when you say those two are pretty much tied at the hip, right? As far as top quarterbacks go. I also have Ryan Tannehill. I know that sounds weird, but
No.
he's a fringe starter right now with Malik Willis there, and they drafted Will Levis.
Oh, that does sound weird.
So, but
that got
I
weird
thought,
real fast.
but I thought that it'd be interesting to see what happens going into this season, and if he ends up staying the starter, they're gonna have to find out what the story would be, like him trying to hold on to his job, like Mariota. And then I also had Jared Goff because for the same reasons, personal interest. So,
Yeah.
Derek Carr's a good one. I like Derek Carr. Speaking of Jared Goff, training camp started this week. There was a couple things I wanted to say real quick. So, like Levi Onzawerki, they said he was cleared to go to training camp. Pretty excited about that. And one person that we haven't really talked about that just popped up on my Bleach Report today, I think it was Christian Covington. I don't think we've talked about him at all.
No, I haven't even considered him a factor.
I know, right?
Sorry about that. Yeah, he's going to be a good rotational piece on the D line, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So I just
good veteran guy.
Yeah, no, I mean, when you start thinking about now, it's Levi, right? Onzawerki.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah. When you start thinking about him coming back, and then now you think about Covington and McNeil, Paschal, who's the guy who they just resigned
Project
him.
Martin. Oh.
No, I can't think of his name right now.
Kaminsky.
Thank you. That's not a bad rotation.
No.
As long as they can do at least what they did last year.
Right. Agreed. Mm-hmm. So we'll just get into Gardner Johnson. Went down. We saw the update today that thankfully it's not believed that it's major, missed significant time. But if he were to be out for a significant amount of time, how impacted do you think that secondary / defense would be?
Well, I mean, honestly, at first I wondered if it was, after hearing that he was okay, I probably don't need to take a shot at him, but I was wondering if it was maybe a pride injury. You know how those go? Because on that play that he got hurt, he got burned and knocked down a little bit by Gibbs, the rookie. So I'm wondering if maybe he was a little sore between the legs.
He was quoted as saying, "I'll be better." So I think, I think he'll be all right.
I have a whole thing here about it because, like, we were talking about how are we feeling, as you were saying there, and I started looking up, like, hey, we might have to think about bringing some people in potentially, because Mosley's on the pup. Now Marvin Jones is on the NFI. J-Mo's got a foot thing apparently today or something. So I was just kind of looking at who was out there. I don't know. Marcus Peters would be a name. He's a good name, good vet, but he allowed a 113.7 passer rating last year. Ronald Darby, same thing. Vet with a good name. He only allowed a 69.9 passer rating, but he only played 5 games. So you're now, I mean, obviously the guys are still available. Have got some of these guys got some serious talent and history, but they've had some injury and some other things happen.
Right.
John Johnson, who's a safety, 82.8 passer rating allowed. He played all 17 games last year. And I was like, well, what about receiver? Because if we keep losing people, who's out there, that they can sign, which might lead into something else here in a minute. But, I was like, Jarvis Landry's still out there. But, he only had 25 catches, 300 yards last year. But, I mean, still, any guy you're looking at that's got a name, right, has probably had some kind of injury in the last year if they're not signed.
Right.
A lot of these guys are healthy. One guy, well, I have N'Keal Harry was on here. He was injured. I mean, we could bring Babytron back. Kenny Galladay. He's still not signed, but no. Julio Jones. I mean, he came back and played in the playoffs last year against Dallas because he was injured, obviously, for most of the year last year. But he came back in the playoffs, got 7 catches, 74 yards, and a TD. I mean, dude's probably a Hall of Famer, so those guys can show up and do that sometimes. But, if we're just trying to piecemeal a couple guys, there's some guys out there. I don't know. I thought that kind of led into stuff about, because, I mean, obviously we traded for Mims, but I didn't know what else was going on there.
I mean, it's only JMO right now, right? That went down.
I mean, Mosley's on the PUP.
Yeah.
Marvin Jones is on the NFI, whatever that ended up being. And we'll see, about CJGJ.
Right.
I mean, maybe it wasn't a pride injury. They say it's fine, but maybe there's something sensitive there that keeps popping up. Who knows?
Right.
But with the ascension of Brian Branch, from what I've been reading, I mean, is it? It's not the worst
Kirby
loss in the world.
Tracy Walker. Their safety core is still pretty good.
Pretty solid right there. But I feel like CJ's mostly been playing out of the slot. That nickel corner. I mean, I guess we'll see what happens there.
Right. Dean, what if he were to go down with an actual injury, or like Eddie said, if it was like something that's sensitive to him and he's just got to miss time, how big of an impact do you think that would be on the defense?
Well, I do think, that he is a really good player, right? You have to face that it is going to affect the defense in some way, regardless of how many good players you have behind him, because he is probably our best safety that we have, I imagine. Just from based on his previous years or whatever. But I think the plan originally was to have Brian Branch kind of play that nickel role, but or develop into it, and then behind CJ Gardner-Johnson or whatever. So this would really give him more of an opportunity to step in there. Obviously, Kirby Joseph and Tracy Walker are going to be playing a lot of minutes, but I think it will affect the defense, and not necessarily a major way. They'll just look not as good, I guess, But then that leads me over to they're trying to switch stuff around. We did discuss that James Houston just isn't just a D end. He more plays like linebacker. I guess they've been using him a lot at Sam linebacker during practice, and him and Charles Harris have been splitting reps, first team, second team, and then he also had Broderick
I think I
Martin,
saw that Charles Campbell had said that Harris is their starter, at least at that end.
Yes.
Spot. Yeah.
Yes.
Sorry.
Are you finished?
You were talking about splitting reps, and he's calling him the starter.
And then you have Broderick Martin also getting rotation in at second team reps on the defense, which is huge. Dude's 6'5", 305. You can't teach that.
You can't teach that.
Can't teach it. So
Also coming out of Allen Park today was that the Lions had hosted Teddy Bridgewater, Teddy Two Gloves. So there hasn't been much more said outside of that. Obviously, he spent time with Dan Campbell in New Orleans. You would assume that they'd want Hooker to learn under him as well, right? Instead of Sudfeld. I mean, that's the, you know, do you think Goff's cool with it? You think he's comfortable? Because you know how he gets confidence wise.
I don't know if Teddy Two Gloves is that much of a threat to. I mean, he's known generally as a career backup at this point. So I think he's just a good veteran guy to have behind, like you said, for Hooker to learn under. And I mean, let's face it. I mean, we'd rather, if Goff is to go down, I mean, we'd rather have it in Bridgewater's hands than Sudfeld's, I'd imagine. I mean, I think we can all agree on that. So.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I mean, TB5 is probably the best possible backup quarterback you can get. Not just, that's available, but in general. I think he's proven that. I mean, you love that he's got the familiar with the coaches. In 2021, he said, Dan, he's awesome. His energy is contagious, and I'm pretty sure those players in Detroit love playing for him. I was able to spend those 2 years with him in New Orleans, and the things that he was able to do with those tight ends in that room, whenever he stood in front of the team and talked, you're ready to just storm out of that meeting and punch a guy in the face for no reason. That's how TB5 felt about him in 21 when we got the job. And as far as like actual playing wise, like Ben Johnson, he has said before that he has 2 aspects of a backup quarterback that he values very much for capable of winning games that are critical to him. He says it's third down and the 2-minute drills. And in 2021,
2 gloves.
Well, one, yes, you have to have 2 gloves on.
You have to be 2 gloves.
Next, he likes third down conversion rates after the 2 gloves. Obviously, because the other 2 glover, I mean, if you can get Tom Brady, you go TB12 to TB5. I mean, those are the 2 best TBs I've known.
This is true.
Terry Bradshaw's up there, but he didn't wear the gloves.
No, he didn't.
No.
So
he would have been better.
The last thing I only have on that is in 21, the last season that Bridgewater was a full-time starter, on third downs, he had a 94.4 passer rating with a 66.5% completion percentage and six touchdowns. And so obviously that is very attractive to Ben Johnson. So I'm just saying, to say that, it all adds up. The familiarity with Dan Campbell, what Ben Johnson's looking for in a backup quarterback. Nate Sudfeld sounds like he's doing fine at camp, like actually doing fine or doing pretty well. But if you can get Teddy Bridgewater as opposed to Nate Sudfeld, it's like,
right.
Sorry, Nate.
No offense, Nate, bro. I mean, it's not like he's been with us that long, but
right. You can get on the practice squad if you want.
Give him a little something.
Maybe a little something.
He can be like an offensive analyst.
There you go.
Yeah. There you go.
Real quick, wanted to touch on what we talked about last week and how Dean said he didn't understand why they did it. Badgley got cut.
Makes sense.
It all adds up now, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Now.
It doesn't it, dumbass?
They never had to give up that pick.
Right. So
saw that.
Yeah. So it's down to Patterson and who's the
Parker
other one?
Romo.
Yeah.
So Patterson.
Pretty
much.
Romo's got the leg though. I guess he in the XFL he hit like a 61-yarder or something like that, or 59 yards. He's got the big leg. They like
unless
that. I mean,
Patterson
that's why they took Seibert.
If Patterson totally drops the ball, that's the only way Parker Romo doesn't get cut. But Romo, his cell phone should be in hand, because as soon as Patterson does drop the ball, they'll probably call him. I guess we'll see what happens in preseason.
Yeah,
that'll probably tell. A little live game situation.
Yeah,
see how they kick. But I don't know, man. Yeah. I can't believe you said that last week
Yeah.
about Badgley. You idiot.
Then why re-sign him? That's you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. See what he's got. See what he's got
sign
going.
him and then cut him before you can see what he's got. But him and Patterson are the same. I mean, they did like side by side stats. I mean, they had very similar stats from 50 and in. So
Dean is basically saying he doesn't trust Brad Holmes to do his job.
the kicker position is the most important.
I don't understand what Brad's doing out there in the kicker position. Fire Brad starts
Can
here.
someone hold him accountable?
Now I gotta throw away my Money Badger jersey.
Yeah, Dean's the only person holding Brad Holmes accountable in the Lions fan universe. It should be appreciated.
Before we get into our Western Michigan football preview, our extensive knowledge of Bronco football, let's ride.
I got some stuff on WMU.
I do too. It's hard
You
to find.
son of a gun.
It's hard to
Probably
find.
have
But it's
similar
out
stuff.
there.
It's yeah.
Probably very similar stuff.
You had said that there were a couple trade rumors / speculations for the Pistons and Tigers, especially with the Tigers in going into the deadline this weekend.
Yeah.
So, take it
For
away.
sure. Yeah, I'll kick it off with the Pistons stuff because these are really not serious inquiries. It's more of this would be a good situation type of thing that I've seen bantered around between, sports writers, things like that, but could have some merit. And a lot of them, they basically center around Killian Hayes or Marvin Bagley or both, for obvious reasons. But the first one I saw was Killian Hayes. Mavs and Pistons, they actually have had talks. And the Pistons have a log jam up there at the guard position. The Mavs have really wanted Bojan, which I think is what keeps the talks going. But the Pistons have been holding pretty strong on, like, for Bojan, we have to have a future first round pick. So I'm glad they're standing that ground. Like, hey, you really want him? Give us a first for him. Especially if we're not making a move. We just signed him to a 2-year extension, right? So that's good for the other teams in general because they know they'll at least have him for a year or two.
Right.
But we should at least get a first for him, especially if we're not contending. I mean, why not?
Just tell
Why
him
not
it's
hold
lottery
out?
protected.
That is part of one of the trades, actually, is a lottery.
Wow.
I don't think I wrote that one down, but I remember that from earlier.
For the Mavs, it's like they're not going to be in the lottery. Just sweeten the deal in case.
Probably not, especially with Bojan. You had Luka, Bojan.
Luka and Boban.
Let's see, but yeah, that was it. Really wasn't even a big rumor. It was like Killian Hayes was part of the Mavs and Pistons having conversations. They could just use him. We could get rid of him. Another one was Killian Hayes and Marvin Bagley to the Raptors for Malachi Flynn, Otto Porter Jr., Thaddeus Young. We would also get a 26-27 second round picks. And honestly, that would make sense for us because Thaddeus does a lot of what Bagley does. Bagley's probably a better scorer, but it also offloads Bagley's contract, which doesn't expire next year. And all those other guys that I mentioned do expire. So if that free agent class that they're talking about is supposed to be special happens, I just didn't see it when I looked at it, but who knows?
Right. We're really hoping for Monty to lure somebody in free agency. That's the big
basically,
plan.
Dude. Yeah.
The big plan.
That's basically it. And we're going to have the money to do it.
We're going to get Bojan back.
Or we'll just start doing Supermax $300 million contracts, which is apparently what's going on now.
Yeah. I saw.
Obviously, we're not getting Jaylen Brown, so.
Yeah, I think that's out.
Another one was just bringing.
Yeah,
I mean, maybe. I mean, that's the only way it can happen.
Yeah, at this point, yeah, for sure.
Because when you sign a Supermax, you have no option for a no trade clause. So Jaylen Brown is at their whims now, but he also gets paid $300 million. So
regardless if he gets traded.
yeah, it's like, who cares, dude? You pay me $300 million, send me anywhere.
Yeah, I'll get traded
I
3 times.
don't care. Yeah, for the next 5 years, I'll sit in Antarctica for 5 years. Is that what you want for $300 million? Like, I'll sit there for 5 years, dude. Seriously, yeah, whatever. And the last one was bringing Reggie Bullock back because he's another expiring contract, and that would be for Bagley, and we would probably also have to give a 2nd-round pick. So I don't know. I'm not interested in that actually, but that just popped up on what I was reading.
Right.
The Tigers, Lorenzen, obviously he's peaking at the exact right time. Rays would be a great partner. They're running on a 4-man rotation right now. Injuries are hurting them pretty good. Lorenzen's probably our biggest return. Or no, the Rays are probably who we'd get our biggest return from because they got a lot of good prospects. The Rays are continually doing that. They always have a good pipeline. They have 4 prospects in the top 40 MLB prospects. We're probably not going to get any of those guys. But in their pipeline, I mean, I was looking at it. If we can get like their middle infield, this third base, second base guy, Curtis Mead, he's actually the 32nd best prospect in baseball. But if they're desperate enough to give up that guy, like that would be nice. It really depends how desperate they are. I mean, they're 2nd in the East right now, so like they've got to keep it going. Like they can't run on a 4-man rotation the rest of the season in the East.
Right.
And expect to make it happen. So hopefully they're desperate enough to maybe give up one of their top 40. Another team was the Astros. They're interested. They're more leaning towards Erod, and they're actually linked to Erod. They would also be looking at guys in their system. Obviously, they can't look outside their system. But I mean, like, not in the top MLB 100 type of guys. Like, they have their number 8 prospect as a pitcher. Colton Gordon would be nice, and probably give up their number 29, who's also an infielder. They're both in Double-A. When I read something today, they had rated Erod and Lorenzen as the 5th and 6th best pitchers available at the trade deadline. So it feels like we should be able to get something. I mean, the Astros and Rays make a ton of sense. They have some prospects. I mean, I don't know. That's basically what I have for trades. But yeah, I mean, the Tigers are obviously at a point where it's like you got to sell at least a couple of those guys. Maybe Jason Foley too. If you can hang on to Lang, like I said last week, Lang's probably our biggest actual return as a trade piece because of team control. But right now, Lorenzen and probably obviously Erod are going to get you the most immediately, but not the top end probably because they're both expiring contracts. So it all depends on desperation.
Right.
Yeah.
Need some desperate teams.
Yeah, I thought if you were to name one person that would benefit the team from getting traded, it would probably be Lorenzen. I don't think he's I think he's where he's at right now. That's as good as you're gonna get from him. Right? That's my thoughts on it, is that,
Well, as Dean said last week, he thought Erod's doing as good as he could do. Or was it last week or the week before? He's kind of like having an Anibal Sanchez season.
Yeah. And we don't want the back end of that again, preferably.
No. Right.
The back end of his career got him a World Series ring.
Maybe the pitch clock has changed Erod's career. Maybe he'll just be this good all the time. You never know.
You really don't. Lorenzen could go on a run till he's 40 years old too.
Yeah. Sure. I mean, sure made Scherzer better. So.
And that was my one example of the back end of a contract, right? Like, man, when he first signed that contract, everyone was like, there's no way that guy's still pitching at a high level at the back end of that contract.
Scherzer.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Man.
But he freaking did it.
Yeah,
Kudos to him, man.
Yeah.
Hey, a lot of love for Max Scherzer, man.
I was gonna say I'm happy for him.
Hell yeah.
So
I hope his kids are doing well.
Timmy Scherzer.
Say hi to the wife for me, Max.
Max, if you're listening, brother.
Good friend of mine, Max Scherzer. Friend
Cool.
of the show.
Cool. Thanks for doing that. I wanted to touch on something real quick before we got into Western. I'm just gonna keep pushing it back.
Yeah.
One more thing: the sky is blue.
Definitely.
So, one thing I did want to touch on, and it is a Michigan sports thing, and as a Michigan fan, yep,
yeah, go ahead.
I felt like I had to bring it up.
Let her loose.
Today they're talking about how Jim Harbaugh may be suspended for 4 games this year. They're talking with the NCAA right now. Due to initially it was 4 level 2 violations for violating COVID-19 recruiting rules. Turned into a level 1 when he did not cooperate. And then when they're investigating that, he didn't want to admit that he was lying. So the level 2 violations, not in specifics, but if you read comments and everything else, you can figure out it is based off what a lot of people think is a cheeseburger.
That's a popular one.
Yep, that's the popular one. The level 2 violations outline contact with 2 prospects during the COVID-19 dead period, as well as a self-reported violation for improperly using a defensive analyst for on-field instruction. Someone
Zoom
commented.
Workout also.
Yep, I saw that too. Yep. Sorry, I didn't have that on there. I did see a comment that said difference between Michigan and some schools. If you take the kid out for a burger, you can't buy the meal. You can only buy the player.
They did both.
Yeah, probably.
Come on. You want to win, you got to do both.
The funny thing about this whole thing is, so you're going to do this to Jim Harbaugh, which is fine. I mean, if he was lying, if he was doing that stuff, and from what I've read, the level 2 violations in comparison aren't as bad as the level 1. Like I had read, there was an example of, I can't remember which team it was, but they got fined like $5,000 for they had like 3 level 2 violations or something like that. The fact that he's this stubborn, right? I love the guy. I love Jim Harbaugh. Obviously, you have to. Like, a lot of people didn't like him when things were going bad.
I don't love him.
I know you don't. As a Michigan fan
either.
Yeah. I mean, he's still very polarizing, even within the Michigan fan base. But I've always liked Jim Harbaugh. I don't understand why you do what you did. He has I feel like he did it in a way to show the ridiculousness of the NCAA when there's a lot other things going on. I will say, if you just had gone with it, this probably is a non-story, right? Now you're getting suspended for 4 games. The funny thing about that is, though, is that the 4 games are against
JV teams.
Bowling Green, UNLV, Rutgers, and Eastern Carolina.
Wait, the NCAA cares, but they don't care enough to make it to where it could be a problem.
Exactly. It's a little ridiculous, right?
What
I
Jim
mean,
Harbaugh
We'll
did is
do without Jim
ridiculous.
Harbaugh.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
I heard
Yeah.
nothing of this, and when you said it, I wasn't surprised. None of it.
Well, this
surprised
isn't
me.
the
Like, I was like,
first
okay.
year either. They've had other little violations over the years, and the reason he doesn't stop is because they don't care. Why
Right.
would he stop?
Right.
Now, I hear you. Like, you go to the SEC, I guarantee you they're doing way worse and a lot more.
Mhm.
You know, like his actual issues, like the violations, no problem. I mean, honestly, whatever, dude. Like those are pretty small things, but
Right.
also they're against the rules.
Right. Right.
They're also against the rules, and it's not the first time. And the reason he's going to keep doing it is because nothing actually bad happens to him at his school or through the NCAA. They're like, okay, we'll make sure you can't coach against EMU or UNLV when we could just put a tree on the sidelines with a headset and you guys would win. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't matter who's coaching against UNLV when Michigan plays them this year. Michigan's
Right.
too good. Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, he can't act surprised either. Like, if you lie to the NCAA, like that's also like real life stuff. Like, you can't lie at an inquisition in court. That's called perjury.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And then pretend like, oh, well, I don't know. I mean, whatever. Like, dude, yeah, you're right, Bill. I mean, if he just fessed up,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it wouldn't have been 4 games, maybe a game.
Maybe.
Because
I don't even.
maybe, and that's because he's a repeated violator. That's the only reason it'd be a game.
You ain't win if you ain't cheating.
Hey, dude. hey, you know what? I'll tell you this about Jim Harbaugh. This wouldn't fly if he was Lincoln Riley at USC. Nobody escapes past all this stuff more than Jim Harbaugh or the athletic director at Michigan. There's more issues that's happened over the last 3 years that nobody's accountable for, and the press does not do anything about it. People would be fired at a lot of other schools, but you know what? They made the playoffs the last 2 years. They beat Ohio State the last 2 years. Who cares?
That's right.
That's how it goes. Hey, I'm not saying. Hey, Pete Carroll, they knew what was going on during the
Right.
Trojan years.
Yeah.
If you're winning, nobody cares. So keep
Right.
winning, Jim Harbaugh. You're good to go. Seriously.
Right.
I mean, I would take those violations if we were winning.
Right.
Are you kidding me? Yeah. Throw them on, dude. Send us to the playoffs. Like, let's cheat a little, would you? Come on. Tuck ain't coming anywhere, man. Frickin'
Buy the kid
coming
a
in his
burger
pants.
for
That's
Pete's
about
sake.
it, dude.
Yeah. The kid wants a burger. Get him a burger.
Get the damn kid a cheeseburger. Can we go to the playoffs? So you can't coach against Wayne State. So what, man? Let's go to the playoffs. I'm not. That's what I'm saying. At the end of the day, I don't care that he did what he did. I really don't. And Jim Harbaugh, hearing him talk 1,000 times, I feel like maybe he doesn't really know that he did what he did. He's kind of a psycho. He's kind of a psychopath. But you know what? He knows how to coach football.
He sure does.
Good on him, man.
That's I guess my only thing is that I don't know why you just didn't. It keeps it. I don't know. I feel like he has, and this just may be me just thinking out loud. Like, I feel like it's almost like he's doing it to keep Michigan. I mean, Michigan's Michigan. I was gonna say to keep Michigan relevant, but at this point, it's like Michigan's kind of relevant. Anyways, right now,
they're pretty relevant most of the time, I'd say.
So,
unfortunately,
there was a time. Not so.
You think he does the
that
violations to keep Michigan relevant?
No, like no, not the violations. Like the
I'm
lying.
like, dude,
like,
how brainwashed are you?
like not the like the like the lying and not like just being like I don't want to cooperate. Like when all you had to do was just cooperate and call it a day. You know what I mean? I don't know.
That would have been the easy way to go.
No, that would have been the way to go.
It would have been a blurb in
Yeah.
an ESPN column, and that would have been it.
Like I said, I'll give him the crazy pass, and that he could legitimately not remember because clearly, but you know, I mean, other than that, I think he's probably full of crap that he doesn't remember. And you know what? That maybe that's what you got to do anyway.
Right.
When you're in that position, maybe you just got to
Just gotta
deny it. It's like a
save
president, whatever. You just deny
moments.
and
Grease the wheels a little bit. Give him a wink.
exactly. Yeah.
Like, I didn't know.
Did I? Who's got it better than us, huh?
Nobody.
Nobody.
Nobody. So
just win, baby. That's it.
Just win.
That fixes everything.
So I just wanted to touch on that. I didn't feel like it would have been right to leave that out, you know.
Yeah.
So with that said, we are starting our season previews of Michigan teams in football, which means we're 5 short weeks away from opening week.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah.
Can't wait.
I mean, something like that. Yeah. Oh, yeah. 5 weeks. Because I think the opening day, I think the Lions game, I think I saw was like 44 days, 43 days. So that's 6 weeks. And I'm pretty sure Maction gets going a week before that.
Yeah, I think Michigan's first game is September 2nd. So, yeah, it's like 5 weeks away, which, so what we're going to do is each week we're going to take one of the Michigan college teams and kind of talk about them for a little bit. I know we did that in an earlier episode. We kind of touched on that last week. But just to kind of give them their due, you know. And
Absolutely.
I thought Western would be a good start because with all three of us not being big fans of them and not really following them,
they got, and they got some stuff going.
Yeah.
They got a little something going. I mean, a little changeover at the top, at the head of the table.
Listen, this isn't a Michigan Ohio State thing, right? So I really don't ever want Ohio State to win. If Ohio State is in the playoff, I really don't want them to win. I could care less about the conference. I will say, and a lot of people are not going to agree with me on this, but if Michigan State were to be in the playoff, I would much rather root for Michigan State than the other team, which would probably be Alabama or whoever. So, but Ohio State,
until Michigan State wins, then you'll regret it.
Yeah,
having to hear it.
Yeah,
that's really the only thing that holds anybody back. Is like, yeah, dude, you got to hear it. And it's like, okay,
right,
great,
yeah.
And I'm just not a big, like, especially Ohio State. Like, I could care less if they're representing the conference. You know what I mean? But Western, when Western was in the Sugar Bowl, right? It was a Sugar Bowl. Don't quote me on that, but whatever New Year's Six Bowl it was, like, I was rooting for them. I was rooting for them to win.
Oh, and they had a row the boat.
PJ Fleck.
PJ Fleck. Oh, I knew it was PJ, but I couldn't remember his last name.
Yeah. I wanted them to show that, those guys can hang when they have the right team. So I don't, like, truly, like, hate Western. It's just I'm a Central fan.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
So, with all that said, I just wanted to give them their due. You know. So, I have some notes here. I'll actually.
Why don't you
Dean,
kick
if
it off, man?
you want me to, or do you
Yeah,
want
why
Dean
not?
to? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So last year they what was it 5-7 last year?
Yep.
5-7 last year. This year they're picked to finish dead last in the preseason coaches pool. They know that they have first year head coach coming in there. Obviously, they have some. The first time we talked about them, they didn't have. They still have a lot of questions on offense, right? So their top two rushers are gone. Their top receivers gone. Uh, their their running back at the time was Abdus Salam, who I tried to find footage on him. I tried everywhere. I could not find anything on him, except maybe I think it was a high school game. So, you have him. But since then, they had Keyshawn King transfer in from Virginia Tech. And I did get to see some of his tape. I mean, he looked quick. He looked, he had a couple good runs as well. So, that's kind of their thing, right? To me, like, they've always been known to run the ball. I'm not, so also, last time we had talked about the quarterbacks. At the time, it was Borgetz. If I said that wrong, sorry. But he had only thrown for 600 yards and 2 TDs. Salapak threw 11 picks last year. So they actually had a transfer in from Old Dominion, Hayden Wolf. And I looked up his stats, and he threw for 18 touchdowns and 9 interceptions in 3 seasons. So it sounds like I'm not there for the battles, but it seems like he would be the starter, right? I mean, he's a graduate transfer too. Unless,
just last year he threw those 3K 18 touchdowns.
That was just last year?
Yeah, that was just last year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So, you would think he'd be the starter since he came over, but it depends on whether they want, because the other two are both young. I think Salapak's either a junior or a sophomore, and Borgetz is a redshirt freshman. I want to say.
We'd agree. I mean, Hayden Wolf's probably the guy, or should be the guy.
Being the transfer into.
I mean, big kid, got all that experience. You'd assume, but who knows?
Right. And the only other thing I had was the defense lost 9 starters, but they did keep their defensive coordinator. Their all 3 linebackers gone. That's crazy. But they have all their backups come back, so there's that. I initially had them at 5-7. I moved it to 4-8. I mean, it's a transition year. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
First year head coach. I mean, from some of the interviews I've seen and read, I don't know. It seemed like he wasn't too confident in them being really good this year. But I don't want to put the words in his mouth. Obviously,
Right.
like to him, obviously he wants to go 12-13-0 and win a MAC championship. But,
right. Yeah.
It's a transition year. You got young guys. You don't have a lot of starters returning. So I had it 4-8.
Yeah, I obviously I have pretty much all the same things
Yeah.
that you said. Hayden Wolf, or probably going to be the starter, like you said, 18 touchdowns, whatever. And then they also lost Brandon Fisk, their top D tackle, to a transfer to Florida State. I mean, he had 6 sacks last year. I mean, 6'5", 305. You can't teach that.
Can't teach that.
I mean, legitimately, not only is he probably your best defender, but he's also a big body to have on the D line. Then other than that, I mean, they just have a lot of young options on the O line. I mean, obviously they struggle heavily. Pass blocking, probably run blocking as well. But yeah, and then just those same guys that got transferred in. It's going to be a completely new team, and college football is, you never know. You know what I mean?
Right.
They could just come out of the gates and just be more like, the coach might just have them so well coached up that it doesn't matter. But we'll see. So I also moved them down. I think I also had them going 5 and 7. I moved them down to 3 and
9.
3 and 9. Yeah.
Well,
It's a lot of
I got them.
changeover, man.
Yeah.
I got them at 4 and 8 too. I guess I'll start there. I moved them down to 4 and 8. I think I had them at 5 and 7 before. But then again, dude, with the MAC, whatever you think's gonna happen, it's probably gonna be in the reverse. So they're probably gonna be an 8 and 4,
Right.
or 9 and 3, or something stupid. I mean, I got a lot of the same stuff. I did want to hit on Lance Taylor, who is the new coach. Last year, he was the Louisville offensive coordinator, which wasn't great. When I, looking at it, they scored 26.9 points a game last year, which ranks 74th out of 131, which was a 33 place drop from the year prior when he wasn't the offensive coordinator at Louisville, when they were ranked 41st. Before that, he was the Notre Dame running backs coach for a while, which goes to what Bill was talking about. So they may have been a running team the last year or two at Western. That's probably what they'll be looking at moving forward. I wouldn't say historically they were, like, in their big days, they had Corey Davis catching those passes when they were at the Fiesta or Sugar Bowl. I can't remember which bowl that was either.
They also had a really good running back that year too.
Yeah, I can't remember.
I can't remember his name, but yeah,
Corey Davis was the big one.
Yeah, I remember
he was the big one.
Yeah,
he was the big one. I mean, he first or second round draft pick. I mean, he was legit. Yeah, like you said, I mean, they got running back, top wide receiver, both transferred to frickin' Minnesota, so they got frickin' flecked, by PJ out there, who keeps going back to his Western well and picking off. Yeah. So I mean, whatever with that guy.
The boat thing, guys. Remember?
Yeah. Row it over in Minnesota now.
Come on, we're rowing it here.
There's no way. Dean mentioned Sisk, so there's no way the D holds up what they did last year, which was they depended on just to even go 5 and 7 when they were number 2 in scoring and total defense in the MAC. I mean, they just won't do that. They start out, they're going to win their first week against St. Francis, and then they'll probably lose their next 3 on the road. Syracuse, Iowa, Toledo, probably lose Ball State at home, and then they're on the road the week after that at Mississippi State. So they're probably going to start 1 and 5.
Right.
So 3 and 9, 4 and 8 makes a lot of sense. So that's really what I got for them. They can eat it anyhow. Whatever. Yeah. I don't cheer for them, actually.
No, I don't cheer for them unless it's like a big bowl game against.
It sounds like you got a big Bronco boner going on right now.
No, I don't. No, I don't.
Let's ride.
We're riding, baby.
Let's ride it.
Come on, Bronco country.
No, but when it comes to like a smaller conference like the MAC, where like they're always the little guy, you know what I mean?
I get
in
it.
that case. Like, I'm not cheering for him in the Bahama Bowl. You know what I mean? Like, but you get to a New Year's Six bowl against a team from the SEC or the Pac-12 or whatever.
That's fair. Yeah. Small
I'll tell you
school,
what.
get a big bowl.
I'll tell you what. If they played Minnesota, I'd be cheering for Western.
Oh, well, that's the one I would.
Yeah,
for sure.
I can't stand that guy. I can't stand PJ Fleck at all.
I got to be honest. During his time at Western, I was really hoping that it would line up with D'Antonio's retiring for him to go to Michigan State.
That would have been ideal.
I mean, why not?
At the time.
Right.
At the time, it would have been really ideal.
But yeah, no, he can.
He would have rowed the boat a lot harder at MSU than Minnesota, I think.
Oh, dude, that boat would be rowing hard as.
He'd be rowing it. Sorry, he'd be picking that Western well so hard.
Oh, dude.
He's like, he'd be like, Spartans will row the boat. Yeah, that guy. That guy could eat it.
And knowing that you dislike him that much would have made it that much better.
No, I didn't even like it.
That's a tough gig, though. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
You didn't what? Well, I'd say you can't blame him, right? You can't totally blame him because to have that kind of success too at a school like that, you've got to totally sell out.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, like in the back of everybody's mind, they know,
right,
that you're gonna go somewhere else. If you have success like that, you're gonna roll.
Right.
And I remember a lot of the Kalamazoo people being hurt by PJ Fleck leaving.
Right.
You know, but he sold that to them also. Yeah. So it's both people's fault. But at the same time, you're like, the only way you have that success there is if you totally sell out and just be like, yeah, we're rowing the boat. We're in this together. We're going to go forever. This is us. We're Broncos. Let's ride. But it just isn't. That's not reality. So he's a douche, but he has to do that.
Right. And that's what I was gonna say. Like, I never liked him when he was at Western for obvious reasons, but I could respect what he was doing, right? But then he leaves, and I get it. Like, you just hit the nail on the head. You're not going to make Western Michigan into a national contender every year, right? They'll probably never happen. So there's very, very rare occurrences where that happens, right? I think maybe the only one that comes to my mind would be Boise State, right? Would be like the only one that I can think of.
Cincinnati, I guess, recently, but they feel bigger,
Yeah.
They feel bigger, but I mean, they're probably on the same level as like Boise.
Yeah. No,
TCU.
That is true. Yeah, that's another one.
They beat big time programs in the playoffs.
Yeah.
They run up big first half leads to do what they want in the playoffs, man.
You ever see that TikTok from the TCU players? They're like, Michigan, what happened?
That sounds so lame. Oh,
yeah, it was. I was like, oh, that's cool.
I guess you can do that when you win.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? I mean, you just have to take it. Once you get smoked, like where you get beat, you just have to take it. I mean, it's in any rivalry, it's in any game. When that team wins, there's what are you gonna do? Well, like
right.
I remember seeing crap after whenever the last time we lost to like Indiana or something, and then you have the standard. Well, when's the last time you guys beat us on a regular? Like just dumb stuff. You're like,
yeah.
Just stop. Like they won, whatever.
Right.
It's over. They're having their day. They're having their moment. It's all good, dude. I mean, there's next year.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's douchey. That I didn't see that, but that's pretty douchey. But I mean, they're, I don't know. What are you gonna do? You win a playoff game you weren't supposed to win, and you got to do something. I don't know.
You gotta do something.
So, good luck to the Broncos this year.
Good luck.
Yeah.
Nah.
Fire up, baby.
Yeah, fire up. Hope you do well against St. Francis.
I mean, they should win.
I would hope so. It'll be a true test.
Hayden Wolf is going to throw for 25 touchdowns that game.
Heck yeah.
Next week, I believe we are going to go with Central. Is that who we had?
Central or Eastern? I mean,
TBD.
Yeah.
TBD. Cliffhanger for you guys next week.
We got them on the edge of their seats now.
Hey, man, people might be pumped for a little Dooley action. I mean, that might be it right there.
Brian Dooley. Hope he's doing well in camp.
He's crushing it. You kidding me?
Oh, yeah.
Dooley's freaking crushing it. Go ahead.
300
people have it.
Pounds of pure muscle.
Less than 1% body fat.
Lucky for him that video never got to 1,000 views, right?
Oh, dude, I would have crushed his ass. Talk about being embarrassed.
So here's the thing, right? Real quick before we get into would you rather. It feels different with Eastern, right? You take away Dooley, even without Dooley, who's been a pretty cool dude.
They're nothing.
I don't.
Without Dooley, they're nothing.
Oh yeah.
Zero.
You might as well cash it in. Don't show up.
He wouldn't say that. Dooley's a man of integrity and honor.
There's no question. There's no question about that.
A question about it.
The captain. So no, but like on a side note from like Eastern and Central, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've never, and I don't know if it's because my whole life they were just not good. You know what I mean? They weren't. They historically they were not a good football team. So
no doubt.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you're not wrong.
Do I want them to beat Central? No. But like I would never. I'll root for them way over when they play Western.
Oh, I'm thinking about trying to see if I can go to the game, dude.
I'll go with you.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Eastern versus Western?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. In
Where,
fact,
be cheering on Dooley, dude. I bet Dooley. We'll be meeting at you at the team bus, brother. We're ready for you. Hey, I did want real quick, dude.
Yeah.
Sorry. You had the max stuff. I did want to mention just real briefly the running back stuff because that's been a big topic this week.
Yes. Yeah.
The running back value. Saquon obviously signed the 1 year, $11 million deal, which probably hurt him at the end of the day. You can't blame him, right? Like he's basically just playing for the franchise tag with incentives if he hits his incentives. You know, I give a shout out to old Le'Veon Bell, who really gave it a shot for running backs at the time, and he was top 3 running back at that moment.
At that time, yeah.
But he never got it back. He did okay with the Jets. He just didn't get it back. And I get it. I get that they want more money. I mean, they bust their ass. I mean, how offensive is it to a guy like Saquon that he has to fight these people for $11 million when he's got to look next to him and see Daniel Jones, who got $40 million a season? Who's more important to that offense? It's really a toss-up.
Well,
I mean, the quarterback's the most important position on the offense. But without Saquon, Daniel Jones ain't doing what he's doing.
It's fair.
Right.
He's a big part
I
of
don't think. I'm not saying Saquon should get that money either. Because like I can't blame a GM or an owner. Like after that, why would you pay $50 million over 4 years for running back? You don't know you're going to get 4 years.
Right.
You might get 2.
Who's
I
already been
mean,
hurt.
Yeah. You look at
yeah,
Todd Gurley,
I mean,
you know what I mean? That contract.
there's a big, huge argument over what's the replacement value because people are like, you can get whoever. I mean, you saw Pacheco for the Chiefs, 7th round pick. He tore it up. Running back centric teams, they're saying also don't necessarily make championships. The last one, you could probably say the Seahawks with Marshawn Lynch.
Mm-hmm.
And you saw what happened when they didn't hand it to him at the 1 yard line. But that would be like the last one that like was like an actual running back centric team. And I hate to dog the running backs because like that is a super important position and they do carry the load, especially for bad teams. Right? Like they really, because that's more you're looking at ball control. Right? You don't want to put it in the hands of the other team because you're
trying
not
to
good.
Develop a young quarterback, things like that.
But at the same time, I've seen countless amounts of offensive sets where there's 5 wideouts and no running back on the field.
Right.
And I've never seen a set without a quarterback.
Right.
Or a left tackle, or a center. I mean, like I get it, but at the same time, I've definitely seen offenses without a running back out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I have not seen one without pretty much everybody else.
Right. Well, and to the point of Daniel Jones, after watching that series, he's got to know so much stuff compared to what a running back has to know.
Oof.
Right?
I mean, that
just
is so
mentally,
true.
just mentally,
You know what? If they did him on the next season, that would probably make people feel differently about him.
Probably. Yeah.
Or worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. They do a whole season. He just doesn't do anything like the other three
like,
did.
I just go out there and I just throw the ball.
He's like, what do I do? Like, Daniel, dear Lord, man.
22 dive, bro.
Give it to Saquon. He's running to your right.
Saquon's calling the plays in the huddle.
Oh my gosh.
Oh jeez.
But you're right. Mentally, Bill?
Yeah. Yeah, no. As far as like we watched it. The things you have to do during the week as a quarterback in the NFL, because it's that way across all 32 teams. Doesn't matter how.
I mean, you saw Mariota. He might not even been a starter.
Right. Compared to, and yes, the running back takes a physical toll, but so does the quarterback. I look at Kirk Cousins. You know what I mean? That dude's getting rocked all the time.
Dude,
Like
I said, I guess that's why I was glad I got to say something before you. I mean, you would have noticed it, but I wanted you to really notice it.
Right.
Like, have it be in your conscious before you watched. Just like him always like, like it. And it's like, whew, dude.
Yeah.
Like, he's not just playing that up.
No.
You can't do that.
No,
he's just in the moment, like, I'm in a lot of pain all the time, and I got to go back out there and throw a 30-yard bomb, or else people are going to say I'm ass.
Right.
Like, everybody in the world's going to be like, oh, there's Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. Which most people do anyway.
Exactly.
Yes, they do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Which I never really fully understood. I could see it in moments, but like I never thought he was a trash quarterback.
He's always, I think, consistently been a top 15 to 17 quarterback in the league.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's fair. And sometimes he plays like a top 10.
Yeah.
And I was wondering what's the solution for running backs? The only thing because like, I don't know, I really don't know what you can do. The only thing I could come up with that I hadn't heard was maybe just allow the rookie running back contracts to be like 3 years instead of 4. So maybe they hit that peak still while you can still get another 3 to 4 years of prime running back. I don't know if that's going to help, because
Right.
at the end of the day, they still might be like, well, we'll just draft another guy.
Or they'll just franchise tag him 2 years, and then it's like, oh, now we can't pay you.
I mean, you would have to really change the rules, and I don't think they're going to do that, because then other positions are going to be like,
Yeah.
then that'll be a whole other fight. You let one, you end up letting them all eventually.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I don't like running backs are just kind of screwed, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to make yourself essentially a Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Christian
You can't-
McCaffrey.
Yeah. You can't just be. And I'm not saying Saquon can't catch the ball out of the backfield, but I feel like
Oh, he does.
call it hometown bias, but I feel like Jahmyr Gibbs is more versatile.
I don't know. Saquon catches a lot of balls. I'm telling you, he is the offense over there.
Yeah.
Which is why
he's not gonna line up in the slot.
Understandably upset.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't blame him for signing it, because he's probably not going to get more money the next year.
Right.
If he sits out like Le'Veon.
Right.
He didn't get more money. He got a touch less.
Right.
You know, I mean, it's a rough gig, you know, and for all those youngsters out there who want to be running backs, maybe just decide to be a wide receiver instead. If you don't like making $10 million and you want to make 30 instead. I don't know.
I would.
Or take up golf.
Yeah. Go golf, dude. Play some tennis. I've been watching. That's another Netflix one. I'm watching Breakpoint.
They should at least provide them health insurance, right?
Yeah, give those guys lifetime health care, which I think is in the Players Association contracts anymore.
Yeah, they might already give them the best health care.
yeah, better than the CTE guys.
Better.
Okay.
Whatever they're getting, let's go bump that.
All right. Last segment, would you rather? I got 4 today.
Ooh.
Yeah, pretty good ones too. So
I got one too, man.
You want to go first or last?
If you ain't first, you're last, baby.
So last? Okay.
I'll kick it off.
You sure? Okay.
Yeah, why not?
Go.
Okay. So it's a little, the more I thought about it, the darker I thought it was. Because it's just bad options, right? Which is usually what they are. Usually you're deciding between bad options. So this is kind of perfect for Bill at this moment, because he's married, has a child. Dean and myself, we'll just pretend we're not incredibly lonely. And let's just assume we're in the same situation as Bill. Okay. We got a family. We're happily married, got children. I mean, I have children, obviously. So,
yeah, me too.
Okay. So 2 options.
I don't know. Never mind.
I got a couple.
What?
No, I was going to say something to Dean, but
Okay. So option 1. First, you yourself go on a 2-week vacation where all you do is go to like these low rent buffets for every meal, and you take selfies of yourself at every location and what you're eating. But the catch is that you can't tell your wife and child that you're leaving. You basically leave in the middle of the night. And when you get back, when they ask what happened, all you can do is show them the pictures. You can't explain other than showing them the photos. So all they see is you eating at these crappy buffets, and they're wondering why you were gone for 2 weeks. You just disappeared.
Okay.
The other option is you let your wife go on a 10-day paradise vacation on the beach with Matt Rife, where anything goes. And she sends you one selfie or pic every day of them sharing one little kiss. And he's obviously not wearing a shirt in these pictures.
Well, for one, the first one sounds like a vacation I would take anyway. So, we're going to go number 1, baby. She'll understand.
No,
She
you
loves
see,
me.
you've never been married.
I don't plan on it.
With children.
I would have to go with the first one. Man, you're getting a selfie every day of her, probably after she banged Matt Rice. Like,
But
let's send
think about
let's send this loser a selfie real quick.
Yeah, dude. He's just shirtless, giving her that big Matt Rife smile,
Yeah.
telling her
Yeah.
something real funny. So she's
Yeah.
laughing during this kiss that she's sending you the selfie of.
In paradise.
But you also have to show them you just eating at buffets, and you're not explaining why you just disappeared for 2 weeks.
There's, yeah.
Look at the photos. What do you want? You get it. It was 2 weeks.
I mean,
How do you come back from the 2-week buffet
you can never
disappearance?
never ever explain yourself.
No.
So pretty
How do you
much
come
just
back?
get a
I just don't know how
divorce
you
to let
come
your
back
wife
from
cheat on
that.
you, essentially.
Well, you don't know that. Maybe they just shared the kiss and that was it.
Okay. Right.
10 days
Right.
alone. But you come back from the other one. Again, it's like the situation where they don't know what you gave up to make it happen. So you come back from your 2 weeks where they've probably called police.
Yeah.
Everybody's been looking for you, and all you do is show them pictures of you at buffets. And that's it? That's all? That's it? That's your whole excuse? It's just like...
Like, this one's 2 blocks away.
People thought I was dead.
They're like, that is the nastiest buffet I've ever seen.
This is not even great.
It's all old stuff. I said low rent buffet. So it's like all just the worst ones you could be at. You probably got food poisoning 5 times.
Yeah, but
You don't... That's what I'm saying. What can you come back from?
Yeah, but
Do you ever get past you not telling them where you were for 2 weeks other than the buffet photos? Or do you forgive your wife that you let her go on the vacation?
You're right. I think I'd just let her go on the vacation. At least I know what's happening. At least I don't have to deal. At least I don't have. You're right. At least I don't have to deal with every day my wife going, "Why did you leave?" And just like
the grease off your chin. Just look at this one. Like, that looks disturbing. That grease is like not the right shade of grease. Why are you shirtless? I guess this would you rather is more like you were cornered into making your wife go on a trip with Matt Rife.
Exactly.
Because honestly, like I don't know. I think I would do the Matt Rife thing. Because, like, I don't know how to explain off the buffet.
You can't.
You can't.
You literally said you can't.
You physically can't.
But you also have to live with that. Like, you just let your significant other spend 10 days alone with a shirtless Matt Rife where they were clearly at least kissed every day.
And you said anything goes.
Anything goes.
Oh, man.
What do you do?
What do you do?
Your life is
the picture.
your life is a living hell for the rest of your life.
No matter what. That's why I'm like, after I wrote it, I'm like, that's just really dark, kind of, because there's no good way around. It's just
Yeah.
bad.
Yeah. That's like, yeah. I'd have to. You literally, your life would be hell. You could never say what's going on. You're just holding up stupid pictures.
Yeah, dude.
People are just mad at you forever. Because it's not just, like you said, it's not just your wife and kids.
Yes, it's everybody.
It's your in-laws. It's your friends.
This is a forced.
Because
Dude,
you can.
me and Dean would be pissed at you.
Yeah.
We'd be
That's
like,
what I'm
dude,
saying.
what the hell?
Pictures are enough.
Well, now you know.
Dude, he was at Chinatown. I don't know what you want. Like, he just...
Look at this crab rangoon.
I didn't know there was a Ryan still around here. Wow, that's crazy.
Okay, that was a good one. Thanks for that. Matt Rife.
Is she into Matt Rife right now? Is she into Matt Rife?
No, she's not like a stand-up comedy person.
Well, okay. I didn't ask that.
I mean, I guess I could ask her, but
it seems like right now he is a very popular dude that chicks want to be with, not because of his comedy necessarily.
Right. That's fair. Yeah.
I want to be with him. You know?
I mean,
I'd go on the 10-day vacation. Yeah, if it was me going on the 10-day vacation,
me going, I'll be like, girl.
I'll send you guys selfies every day.
I love paradise.
Anything goes with that, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. All right. First one. As a senior in college, you'd either be a third stringer at a good D1 school or a starter at a good D3 school.
It'd be, I think, starter at D3 school, because either way, you're not gonna. I mean, you could maybe still go pro coming D3 if you're good enough as a starter. I mean, you have to be really good, but if you're D3, if you're third string as on a D1 team, I mean, I guess it depends on what your aspirations are, I guess. I would say starter on the D3 team.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, no. I mean, I agree. I mean, how many plays am I getting as a third stringer? Do I have some tape out there?
Well,
or am I just straight up on the bench?
We'll say, like,
that
right now.
Too, yeah.
Like right now, Michigan has like a 3.
Right now, I couldn't hang.
Michigan has a 3 running back rotation. The third running back doesn't really get to get in, but they do get in. So it's either that, like Michigan State's just winning a Big Ten championship, or you're going to Olivet and win the MAIA.
That doesn't answer it, though. I mean, do I get in?
Yeah, we'll say you get in.
Get like what?
Like you're getting scrub time.
5 plays a game?
Maybe.
Average?
Yeah, that's fair. Because you're a senior too, right?
I'll take that. Because you get to go to the bowl games, you get to do all that stuff. You still get 5 plays, and if you're trying to make it, I think you're just as good showing 5 plays on tape in D1 than you are 1,000 in D3. If you're trying to make it.
Fair enough.
No, if I don't play at all, I'd rather do the D3.
I guess it'd really depend on position, right? Because if you're a third string quarterback, you're never getting in.
That's where I was thinking. I was thinking quarterback, and then I would never play anyway. But if you're going rotation wise, even 5, that does change.
I mean, straight up, if you're third string QB in D1, you're not making it.
No.
Anyway. Right. So yeah, I'd rather do that at that point. I'd rather be the third string QB. Because then you still get to go to the bowl games and stuff. And
right.
You could always say, hey, I was third string on that state team that went to the playoffs.
Right. You get all the cool
As a-
swag.
Yeah, and nope. I mean, people are like, "Oh, that's cool," as opposed to like, "Oh, I was the starter at Alma."
Right. When
know?
when we won the conference.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, sweet." Yeah, I mean, that's cool. That's cool,
Right.
and it's it does take some talent and whatnot, but
Yeah.
certainly not the same.
Depends on if you want reps or not, I guess.
Okay. Next one. You can either be, would you rather be always broke with a nice haircut and a beard? Or
So now,
or or well off with a perm and no beard?
I mean, so just to have money with a permanent and a no beard.
Yeah, like the way you look now.
Ugh. It would suck to be no beard.
And
It would suck to not have my beard, but I mean, if I'm well off, I mean, it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. I don't care if I'm poor with a beard. I'm that now. It's not great. I'll be well off with a perm, for sure. That sounds nice.
I mean, yeah, dude, no question. I'll take
Yeah,
the
same
perm
here.
and the
I just
money.
wanted to,
Means
I
I
just
got
wanted
real
to
money if
see.
I'm getting perms, baby.
you guys have nice haircuts, so no one knows because I always wear a hat. You'll never see my hair.
I mean, my hair just kind of fell this way this morning. I don't know. I didn't even do anything.
As he goes. All right, next one.
It's like,
These last two. All right.
yeah.
Oh, now my eyebrows are wet.
You-
I don't like that.
All right, next one. You either have to chew already chewed gum from under a table for 5 minutes,
Ooh.
Oh.
or smell someone else's used underwear.
For 5 minutes also, or is this like
No.
an hour?
Just a good whiff.
Just a good-hearted whiff.
Big ol'
Is it like a I should
Yeah.
have a Tide stick
Yeah.
with me type of thing?
where
The
you're
what?
breathing out their butt juice.
Yeah. Should I brought a Tide stick with me or what?
Nope, you just gotta.
I still don't think that makes
Well,
sense.
whose underwear is this?
It's I don't know, a male's underwear.
You're just in the locker room and you just grab a pair.
Yep. Or is it...
All right, post practice nasty underwear.
Sure.
Because I mean, you can't be like, oh well, it's like the supermodel's underwear or something. You know, like I mean,
no, sorry, a dude's
that'd be
dude
easy.
Worked all day, used underwear.
I was already in that mindset. So
How many farts in this during this day?
Enough
or chew some old gum from under the
You know-
table.
for 5 minutes.
Oh,
That'll make you sick. I think.
they
Especially when you
both
start
make
really
me
chewing
sick.
it and like.
I'll tell you that right now.
At least it's one big whiff and you're done, and it's 30 seconds.
Oh, dude,
Compared-
the shame
to
of
chewing
because
on
you can't be by yourself while this is happening. The shame
Why
of
not?
people
I can't be by
watching you
myself.
snort this underwear.
If they knew my
Is-
other option,
And the
they'd
fact that you
understand.
said 30 seconds, how long is it? How long? That's like
30
4
seconds.
inhales. That's
I
like
got
Dean's
3
got
deep
large
lungs, man.
nostrils.
I've got deep lungs.
Dean, why are you smelling it again? You said 30 seconds. No,
He's
I
getting
didn't.
as many sniffs as like, dude, hey, put the underwear down.
Get inside the underwear.
Oh.
That is tough, but I can't chew the gum. I'd throw up. Well, I'm gonna throw up either way, but
How long's
At
the
least I don't
gum
have to
been
keep
under
chewing
the
the gum.
table?
Probably for a while. That's usually how it goes.
it's hard.
But I mean, it doesn't matter. Once you get it wet, then you get everybody else's saliva with it. So
yeah, that
Well,
first
just one
bite
other
down
person.
juice.
that's true, but you don't know who that one person is.
No.
And if it's stuck to other pieces of gum underneath.
but I pretty much know the dude that I'm sniffing the undies from.
It all smells the same.
I just feel that tinge in my nostrils. How long? 5 minutes?
Yeah. Think of how long.
What flavor
2 minutes
gum
was
is it?
during
Do
a
we
wrestling
know?
match.
No, we don't know.
Oh, there's no flavor.
Yeah,
It's just
there's no
spit
gum.
flavor.
Yeah.
Just split flavor.
Just put this plain.
Oh, this is difficult, man.
I know.
Can we go back
bring
to
the
how great
heat.
our haircuts are? I think I'm going with the gum. I know that's weird. I feel like I'm gonna go with the gum because I don't know who had it. I can just make up whatever I want in my mind. I know it's some nasty dude's post-practice undies, and you know that rancid,
It's gonna be bad.
immediate stench. It's probably gonna live with you. Like that scent. I don't know if I can. I just think I'm already stuck with it. I haven't even had that happen. My nostrils have been hot since you brought it up.
It's a tough one because obviously, like, it's just a quick whiff, right? Like a good whiff, but it's not like 30 seconds. I don't know why. That's a lot of
an example of time.
Put the underwear down, Eddie said.
Just set them down, bro. I mean, he just face deep. 30 seconds.
I think I'm gonna go with the gum too. I thought about the underwear, but the gum, yes, it's gonna suck initially, but eventually it's just your spit at that point. You just gotta,
especially after 30 seconds. You're gonna be into just your stuff before 30 seconds. That's Dean still sniffing the undies.
Yes, he's still sniffing.
But at that point, I'm doing it for my enjoyment. Okay.
once you get past that initial funk, it's really not that bad.
It's not that bad. Really.
It's really all for pleasure at that point.
Someone really used Irish Spring on their nuts yesterday.
Oh, it's clean?
All right, last one. This is another not great one. All right, you either have to eat 10 of your own boogers, or pick 15 boogers from other people's noses and wipe it on yourself.
And wipe it on yourself?
Oh, dude,
like on your shirt?
Yes. Yes.
Oh, that's so gross.
What? Okay, I need context here.
When I get spit on a pant leg, I'll throw up.
So obviously, so obviously, the person you're picking knows you're doing this. Other people, like, so you pick these, you rub them on your shirt, and then you just go about your day.
Yeah.
So you just get the 15 bugs.
Yes.
Just throughout the rest of your day.
Yes.
Or you eat 10 of your own. Now, are you by yourself? Well, I mean, you got to put something on that. Because if I'm by myself, I'll just scarf it down. I'll be like, it's mine, it's mine, it's mine, it's mine. And I'll just finish my life out without anybody knowing I did this.
No, I would say it'd be like 10 over the course of the day. It'll be around people.
It should be like 10
in public.
10 boogers that you're
because
picking,
you're not gonna go ahead.
That people would assume that you weren't picking. Like they caught you by surprise, but each time you're eating a booger. You know, like they're just walking by where you're at. And they're like, and you're not looking at them. You're just picking one and eating.
Yeah, because you're not gonna have 10 boogers in your nose right away.
Right, exactly.
That's gonna be an all day.
You're
It's
just
gonna be all day. Yeah, no, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Just every time he's someone.
Just 10 random people every time.
Yeah, but it's your own boogers.
No, I mean like when you're.
It's all embarrassing.
When you're eating it. It's just a random person every time.
Oh, it's a random person too?
Well, yeah, it can't just be the same person the whole time. I mean, it would be hilarious.
Oh, no. That sees you.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, all right.
Yeah, not that,
I guess I'm just gonna wear them. I guess I'm gonna wear them for the day. I don't know, man. I don't know. They're both bad, so I just feel like it's just a little worse for people to 10 random people. They'll all talk about it later. Like, dude, I saw him eating a bug. Like, he picked it and ate it. And then they're all like, I saw that too. And it's like 10 different people saying that at the same time.
And then you're just the booger eater from then on. You'll be like, dude, we've all seen it. It's confirmed. Like he does it all the time. But in reality, you just had to do it the 10 times.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, I don't know. I'd probably... Man.
I think I just...
It's...
I just have to wear it.
I guess. I'm going to throw up 15 times. But...
Oh, dude, that's so
me,
gross.
and I'm going to probably crap my pants. At the same time.
Oh man.
Oh, dude,
right.
That was something.
All right.
Yeah, that was a good time. Story for another day.
All right. So
classic.
That was all of them. Those are some pretty gross ones, but
yeah.
You got to make you think a little bit. If I was just like red or green, that's no fun. So, all right. Well, I think we're going to call it a night. Thank you to everyone for watching. We'll be back next week with another college team, TBD. And obviously, I'm pretty sure we'll probably get some more Lions coverage. We'll see how it goes with Tigers training camp. Geez, Tigers deadline. And Lions training camp. There we go. So with that said, thank you very much. You guys have a good week. We'll see you next week. Have a good one.
Sports Talk.